In this video, I'm going to show you how to lay out your feet in correct anatomical position, distinguishing between the left foot and the right foot. So I have already separated out my metatarsals, which belong to the sole of my foot, and my tarsal bones, which make up the ankle of my foot. And I'm just going to show you how to determine the difference between the different phalanges, the three sets of phalanges of the foot. So the proximal phalanges that articulate directly with the metatarsals are the biggest ones in the foot, and they have a round base. And the round base, single base, is because they articulate with the capitate or the head of the metatarsal. So they have a single round base. These two are very obvious, very large ones. These belong to the big toe, but they also have a single round base. So I'll take all of those. I can find with looking at the bases all the time to make sure I've got the proximal phalanges identified correctly. Then I've got my intermediate phalanges. These ones, they are very distinctive. Little square ones often don't get excavated. They look a bit like pebbles. But just as in the hands, their base is a double base. Do you see that? Separated into two because they articulate with the head of the proximal phalanx, which is a double head. Yes, so they articulate like that. So I can identify those. I'm picking them out. Sometimes the intermediate and the distal phalanx are fused together in the foot, in that case. And then the distal phalanges, or the terminal phalanges, have arrow-shaped heads, the tips of your toes. So they're very easy to distinguish. I'm putting them all in order there. So those are my phalanges. So now I'm going to start pairing up my bones so that I can reconstruct the foot. So start looking at the size and the shapes of the metatarsals. The most important thing to concentrate on is the base of the metatarsals, because they have articular facets. These are smooth surfaces. They're the bones join with each other. And it's those articular facets that are going to enable you to reconstruct the foot like a big jigsaw puzzle, but also to identify a bone. If you had a bone in isolation, if you've memorized what the facets look like, you can always side it and identify that bone. So I'm just looking at the facets and pairing up my bones. Okay. Yep, happy with that. So as I start to reconstruct my left and right, I'm going to start with my big toe and my fifth, because these are the most easy ones to identify, and then I just have to worry about the ones in the middle. So this largest big fat bone is the first big toe, which is no surprise. If you look at the base of the big toe, it has this rounded semicircular facet. This curves to the side it comes from. As I look at it, this is curving to the left. So this is my left first metatarsal, left MT1, and the big toe. And that's my right one, because I've already paired them up, so I only need to do that once. My fifth, because it is at the end of my foot, it has no articular facet, no flat surface on one side, and then it will have a facet on the inside where it articulates with the next bone. So the fifth is very distinctive. It has this very elongated surface. That's a round surface with no to it. And then on this side, it has that smooth articular facet. You just see it there. That is going to articulate with another bone. So that's fine, but that could either be that side, couldn't it? Or it could be that side. How do you tell the difference? Well, if you look at the base again, you'll see it has a very smooth surface on one side, and on the other side, you should be able to make out this groove. This groove going along here. This groove is for a ligament that helps you lift your foot. That's why it's there. And this ligament is on the base of your foot. So when you're laying it out, you need to make sure the groove is on the bench, on the base, and then, of course, that the smooth, rounded surface with no articular facet is on the edge, like that. So that's how you side those. So, simple, yes? First and fifth. Now I just need to worry about the ones in the middle. I always start from the fourth because I just find it easier. So you have this long non-facet side for the fifth, and then you have this elongated facet, quite a large long facet on the inside. So you're looking for a bone that has a large facet, elongated facet on one side. that one. And then on the other side, just to note, it has a triangular facet. This triangle here. So this facet, elongated facet, has to articulate. So it can't be here because it's in the wrong place. It has to be there. So that has to be a left one. I've already paired them out now, so I know that's a right one. But even if I only had one bone, I didn't have the other one to compare it to, because I know what the facets look like, I can side that single bone. Then remember I said it had a triangular shaped facet on one side. So I'm looking for another bone with a single triangular facet-ish. So there we are, that's a triangular facet. Eye of faith, yes, single triangular facet. That articulates there. So I could put it that way, but now of course my bone is upside down. So I need to put it that way, so the bone is the right way up, and my triangular facet articulates with that triangular facet. Like that. Okay, and then I have my other side triangular facet there. And then I have two little facets, two separate little facets there. See those? Those are important. So once I put that in that position, I'm looking for a bone. I've only got two left. Got two separate facets there. Obviously articulate with the two separate facets I've just seen on the third, and then nothing really on this side. Just as in the hand, the second metatarsal barely articulates with the first metatarsal. So first metatarsal is lower in the foot. So that area with very limited facets, sometimes that's a tiny little facet on one side, that articulates with the first, and my double facets articulate with the third. So it should be able to sit in there. Right? And there we have the sole of the foot reconstructed. So the next thing to do is to look at the proximal phalanges. So I'm going to do exactly the same as I did with my metatarsals and in my hands. If you've seen that video, I did the same thing. I'm just going to pair them up and then order them by size. So those repair, those repair, those repair. And just as in the hand, the longest proximal phalanx belongs to the third toe. So there's my longest proximal phalanx, my biggest one there. And then my second one is going that one. And then the next longest is the fourth. And then the fifth ones, they tend to be squashed. They're kind of flat. And just as in the hands, they curve to the way that the side that they come from. So that's going off to the right. That's the right one. That's going off to the left. That's the left one. And my obvious ones here are for the big toe. The big toe only has a proximal and distal. It doesn't have an intermediate, just like the thumb. So again, that's going off to the right. My right one going off to the left. Left one. Okay. Then I want to look at my little square ones. And, you know, even though you very rarely get these, you can still carry out the same principle. Haven't got all of them. I've got a few of them. So I've got the biggest one goes into the middle. The second biggest ones go to those ones, and then the next one down. Say is that one. And then the terminal ones. Oops. And then I have the terminal ones here. These are the big toe pointing off to the left, pointing off to the right. And then just have a bit of fun putting these together. You very rarely get them. They move around in the soil. So when you excavate, it's very rare that you see these. But we'll finish them off just because it's nice to finish them off. There. And so there we have the feet.